Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and today I'm here with another D-standard deck profile, and this time we'll be covering a Lianorn. So Lianorn finally get another version of herself, not only the starter one, and she actually kind of getting another skill in my opinion, because with the +1 draw one and call one, this actually helps the deck quite a bit, because you always want to have a lot of units in the back row, hopefully free. So this one is at least helping you to get the card, because you only get to draw one for a start of the turn. You can only call one, given that it's a unit that you can call. This at least +1, so help you out sometimes, and sometimes when you are just lacking a piece, maybe that draw will actually help you out. Who knows, right? And then the right line is actually still the starter ones, plus this. I am finding another route as well to play this deck, but this I think is more if you are trying to look for a build to play with Lianorn first, and then while playing, exploring something else. I think this will be a build for you, because I myself is also exploring right now. I don't have like a perfect confident list yet, but this one is actually a very good starting point. So I'm doing this introduction first, so you can see how you can actually get to play this deck. I will tell you about some good points, some of the weak points, so you will know the difference. And maybe from there, after you're playing with this build a little bit more, you will start building up another different build, which hopefully I can actually get one done that I feel very happy with. Then I can also show you guys. Right. So the right line, just make it simple. This one is basically your Vanguard boost, and the calling with the grade 2, so far I use it sometimes if I really need the card, but sometimes I'd rather to have an extra soul. I will not soul blast, but it's up to you. Right, so let's get into the main deck. First, free of the Lianorn, because we want 2% right, we need souls. We actually need the power to pump the frontal regards, because they don't gain any power boost, and even with Lianorn's skill, you boost with 3 units is a big punch, and then you can stand 2 backward units back, but those columns power will not change. That's kind of one of the weak points with this card, because you have to have 3 units in the back row that is standing for her to use the skill, which means she's always the one that punches first, and she's the biggest. Which means her most simple weak point is you punch with her, your opponent's get a defensive, you can't hit. Or you punch with her, your opponent's get a defensive, you can still hit, but you are not using a lot of resources from your opponent, and then they use their resources to hit you back harder, because you don't have one hit. They might have restand, they might have multiple attacks, and from there they drain your resources and you lose. So with this build, this deck is really, if you ask me, it's really important that you try to go first, because I have been playing with like going second again. I keep losing because of multiple attacks draining all my resources. So something that you need to take note of. And in order to actually make us feel better, I'm using 4 of the Flutter Dragon. So Flutter Dragon is a very good card that I kind of missed at early stage, but then I find out this card, which really helpful. The skill of this card is when your Vanguard get boosted during the turn, you get plus 2k. With Lianorn's skill, you'll be boosting with 3 units max, so you can get 6k plus. So you can become a 16k with a 7 to 8k boost. That's already reaching 23k plus, so it's quite important. And another key factor is that this card, even with only 1 boost for a Vanguard, this card is still a 12k, which means plus the 8k is a 20k line. During your grade 2 turn, while your opponent is on grade 1 or grade 2, you can still give them a lot of pressure, because you are baiting at least a 15k shield. and if you get a trigger to pump this to 30k, they probably won't guard it at all. So this is a very good early rush pieces, and something that help you kind of sustain the power line. Even when your opponents get a 10k defensive, you can still kind of hit with this card. So it's quite important, because with 13k we get 8k boost, and if they don't gain any power, it's still like a 21 line. If your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 with 13k, get a defensive boost, it's already 23k, you won't hit. So that's a lot of attacks will be wasted. But this card is actually helping you out. And another card that helping us out is the Great Assault, because this card can simply get 10k when attacking the Vanguard. So it's really important, and as explained in the starter version video, that because your Lianorn will always be standing regards, so you can use them to boost and also unlock the restrictions that he requires you to have a regard standing by effects in order to attack. So it's very important. But another weak point with this card is that you can basically only start using it during your returns onwards, so you can't early rush with this card. But that's why we use the Flutter Dragon there to actually help us out. And then I'm running one of the Maple. I do see list trying to use like 2 or even 3, but so far I only have 1, so I'm using 1. But I might try to turn it to 2. I am even a little bit tempted to go for 3, but so far I think 2 would be enough if you do have the card with you. And the good thing about this card is you can just simply use it. By saying use it, is like simply use it for a 5-3 card because you can reborn. Simply play it as a regard because early game because it's a 10k that hits a lot of stuff, and feel free to use it for intercept because it will come back, right? And you only can bring 1 Maple back to the field from drop zone, so 1 is okay, but if you have 2 to actually make it make your life easier, then maybe that works, right? And then 4 of our new triple rare, which is the Nth. So the Nth got a few skills. First one is when appears on Regal Circle from hand, you can if your Vanguard is great for your heart, you can blast 1 and just from a drop zone call a great for your lower card to your Regal Circle. So you can bring back your great 1 for boosting, bring back these guys to help you to punch your opponents harder. And she also got another skill, of course, which is during a turn when there are 2 or more grade 1 or lower regard in your back row, this unit will get plus 5k. So pumping your Vanguard even higher, so your opponents will need to drop you a lot of cards to guard if you rush them early enough, push them to like 4 damage and start using your Vanguard to do a lot of big punch, swing big, then she's actually helping you out to give you another extra push. And then 4 of the Vienna, because she's just great, she's important for you to add souls, because if you don't have her, 90% of the matches you're going to lose. I have like playtested with this deck a lot, and whenever I don't have this card at all, I lose for sure, because my soul will run out, I don't have it on hit threats to my opponent, and the great thing about her is you use her to boost with your Lianorn, activate the skill, withstand her, boost with another unit and hit again, you can still use the skill. So you can do a lot of card exchange, you can do a lot of stuff to actually put something that you don't want to keep in your hand in your soul for an extra draw, while still feeding your Vanguard with souls, so that you don't run out of skills. Because if you kind of run out of skill, you will just go downhill and you will just lose the game. You need to keep applying the pressure while you can, and she's just that important. Okay, and next is Amalia. So this is a card that can simply just get a 2k and you can have a chance to go to last one, so last one to draw a card. This is important because you can more draws means you have more resources to actually survive for the next turn or finding the pieces you need. But because this deck actually uses a lot of resources, this uses Counterblast, right? And this will use Counterblast. And without her, you don't have a lot of souls because your Lianorn is also using your souls. So I don't use her drawing effects that much. But the 2k plus is actually quite important because, for example, with this, you can just simply get to a 26k line. This one you can get to a 30k line, which is with this one is slightly higher than 28k, so it's quite good. Even with a Lianorn can still be a 23k line, so actually helps a lot for sure. And next I'm ranked 3 of the unit PG and one of the promo PG that I'm very happy to actually get actually get 2 copies to use, but we can only use 1 in our deck, so that doesn't really matter that much. But it's an order card, so kind of bypass some of the card restrictions, but so far in the meta that I see, that we still can see some of the Great Warrior Nirvana, so this card can still come into handy, help you out a bit, and we also see some Seraphs, so that can also be something. But other than that, I don't think there is any other Great 4 matchups that you're going to see. But even that is still a PG, so it's like, what's the worst? You just use it as a normal PG and just be happy with it. So I don't see a problem using this card, and when you see the Great 4 matchups, you will be happy that you actually have this card. And then one of the Wild Intelligence, because I do want to feed up my drop zone that I can actually use to call with the Great One, or maybe drop a Maple so I can reborn, or any other kind of resources that I actually needed. And this card actually helped me brings a unit back from a drop, which like this dragon here, Flutter Dragon, that might just simply go to the drop zone when facing heavy attacks. Then I can bring it back and let it function again. Same with like Great Assault, that I can still keep creating threat to my opponent. That I think is quite important. And then I'm using a Grave Reorder, Happy Dreaming Festa. So this card actually look top 7 core up to 2 Grade 1 or lower units to reverse going to shuffle our deck by using Counterblast 1 when we have a Lianorn, Vanguard. That is quite important because I face a lot of matches that with heavy retire that I need something to actually build my board, and this brings 2, right? Plus Lianorn, 2 Counterblast, I bring hopefully 3 units. Even triggers, that still counts, right? As long as we have 3 at the back row, make them boost, your Lianorn can still gain extra drive to punch opponents hard. You still have a chance to come back. So just 1, because in this build I don't want to run a lot of orders, but I'm also exploring builds that use a lot of orders. Maybe that one I can feel a little bit more comfortable because I was having so much fun when having 4 drives. So I will look back into that route and see if that is actually helping me out. But so far I'm only using these 3 in this build while trying to utilize units power to reach 23k plus and just do my best, push my opponents early, and use the big punches to be a threat so that they need to give us a lot of cards. Now triggers. Stoichia, over trigger, just that good. Don't need to explain too much. But if you prefer to like the 200 million spread with big punches, that's also fine. but so far I think this is doing a much better job for surviving, so I'm using that discard. Sowing crit, we need a lot of souls, and then 3 more normal crit, 4 tanker draws, 3 normal heals, and 1 of the extra critical heal. This one I think is kind of good, but I might switch it for the restand, like the attack more than 2 times, gain 15k shield heal. That might be a better choice right now because we do have crossover dress, and then we kind of still have some other resenting Vanguard like Overlord. Those is still a threat, and we are starting to see a lot more brews. So this one is a slot that you can switch depending on your meta. When I build this deck, the gain crit I think is more of a threat to me, so I'm using this one. But like watching the actual current meta, I probably will switch it to the other one. But it's still good to have at least one, so that you can get prepared. Because when you see your opponent's Riot deck, you know what they're doing, then you can get prepared, right? Yeah, so this is basically the deck list. Have to say, what you need to do here is very simple. Just try to mulligan yourself to get like some good beaters early game and just start rushing. You don't have the time to lose at all with this deck so far. I am hoping we can actually see a lot more support cards for this deck, because the really big weak point of this deck is it swing big but it does nothing, right? And your big swing have to go in first. You don't have a choice, kind of. Even though you can just swing with like side, just with like 1 front row, but is that meaningful? I don't think so, at least for now, right? So like in the order build, we create a lot of on hit effects. Like if you let me hit, I will bring an order. If you let me hit, I will soul charge and draw card, and so on and so forth, right? But with this build, it's kind of just more rely on the power, and you do kind of need to rely on your trigger luck in order to actually like bring her out to be a threatening deck. So yeah, do give it a try. I tried a lot of like games, especially when facing the new like the hero stuff. Whenever I go second, I immediately lose. The reason is because they can do 4 attacks that is all 20k plus. That means if I want to survive all of them, I need to give them 3 15k shield, that is 3 triggers, right? And the Vanguard attack, I still need to see if I can take it, right? And even if I have another 15k shield, it's only a 1 pass, and that's 4 hands gone, right? And they have the retiring power to your front row, and if you don't have your front row, meaning you can only do a big punch max, or you have to actually put the back row to front and they will get retired or get hit again, and then your resources will just get drained. That's basically kind of the worst situation that you will see, that I actually faced it myself. If I actually get to go first, the hero isn't that kind of threatening, because I can get my chance to rush them first, give them pressure first, and win from there. But this deck is really not good at going second, or 90%. Some decks that will punch you like only 3 times, you probably can still save some resources, but once they attack more than 3 times, you really need to be very careful with this deck. That one, you might not try to give them too much resources, or you just give them whatever resources they want, but you want every single attack to hit, so that they will need to start giving you resources and drain them out. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, so do give this deck a try. Let me know your thoughts. And I again is looking for other like ways to build this deck, that I think this deck should still have some kind of possibility that I can go with something that I'm more happy with. And when that is done, of course I will show you guys, right? Yeah, so let me know your comments, thoughts on this deck. Maybe there are like other cards that you think might be a good choice as well. Feel free to comment down below. Like this video if you like this deck as a like an entry build, or a way to learn how to play this deck. And again, feel free to comment down below, have a discussion to like on different cards to use, different ways to play the deck, and we can just start our like investigation down there. Yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.